Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Expedition League 3.15. I just woke up, so my voice may be a bit weird, but let's get into today's shit. So we're going to show you guys how to AFK Flasks. What does that mean? You're never pressing them again. What? AFK Flasks? How you going to do that, dude? I'll show you how I use them, and then I'll also show you how you do it yourself and the odds of doing it. So, GGG added instilling orbs and enkindling orbs. Instilling orbs are the ones we want. So you can instill orb to add an enchantment to your flask. I'll start with the craziest one of them all. Here we have the forbidden taste. So I've instilled orbed the enchant used when you take a savage hit. A savage hit is when you take 15% of your life in a single hit. So it's a big hit. And then this flask recovers. I have it. It's a roll, 75 to 100%. I have a 99% of life on use. I'll heal 99% of my life. The reason we can do the instilling orb on a life flask here is because it's actually a quartz flask, and you can automate utility flask, but you can't automate a life, mana, only utility. So you can automate like a quicksilver, quartz, corundum, granite, and a quartz flask. And so I made this one automate when I take a savage hit, which is a big hit, 15% or more of my life, and then I heal for all of my HP. The downside of this flask is 25% of maximum life taken as chaos, and so I have 787 regen, and I have 72 chaos, so when I press this flask, I out-regen the degen from the flask. They nerfed this, so it's 25% of your life as chaos per second. It's way more than it used to be. It used to be like 8%. So it's a lot worse, but when you automate it, you get a big hit, you heal for full. It's amazing. Can proc twice because it's 30 of 60 charges, so we could have this activate twice. I'm also going to show you guys the odds of rolling each mod, to help you better understand how expensive this can be. When I was doing these earlier, I got my own instilling orbs. Like, I've got an extra 36 after doing all of them. They drop pretty frequently, and these were about 1 chaos before when I was doing this. But then the other things I've done is I've automated my granite flask, so I don't press my flask at all. And then this one will activate when I become shocked, and then it says grants immunity shock for 4 seconds if used while shocked. So it's a perfect flask that when I get shocked, it'll remove the shock and I'm immune to shock for 4 seconds. With this one, my other quartz flask, I have used when you become frozen, and so it's exactly the same. It's going to, when I become frozen, instantly unfreeze me and make me immune for 4 seconds. It's sick. And then a corundum flask, I'm making it use when I'm full, when it reaches full, so it's when I kill a pack of monsters, this will trigger, and then it gives me cannot be stunned if you've been stunned during the flask effect. So basically you're immune for 6 seconds when this flask goes off, and I get increased armor because of the mods. I did charge recovery on this one because it only consumes 20, where the other ones are consume 30. And this one has reduced charges, but I think increased duration would also be pretty good, because it doesn't help you press it more than twice, because it's only 24 of 60. Reduced charges on this one could be kind of good, but it's already 20, which is very low. Anyways, back to the point of the video. I automated this one with when I reach full charges, which is when I kill a pack of monsters, and then it'll make me basically stun immune, because during the flask, if I get stunned, I'll become stun immune, so I'm basically stun immune. And then the last one is my quicksilver. I automated it to use when charges reach full, and it also has my corrupting blood, so this automatically activates while I'm killing packs, and then if I get bleeding or corrupted blood, just kill a pack and I'll remove the bleeding. You can manually click this if a bleed is really messing you up, because you'll have the extra 30 charges sitting there, because it'll never use twice, it'll only use it once when you reach full. So that's a nice thing I found about use on full, is then you get to still activate the flask when you want to, so you could put some good mods on it that you may want all the time. This one could technically be ignite immune, and then you could use these two when you get ignited or bleeding specifically, instead of, because doing it on a trigger can make it use all of the flask and you don't have it to actually manually press it. But with the use on full, you still have an extra click saved because it won't click it twice. So it's a small little thing. Next, I want to get into how this actually works. So here are the mods. There's a lot of them. This is 16 total mods it can roll as the enchant, and each of them has 100 weighting. So basically, to get a specific one, it's 1 in 16. So if you had to roll every single flask to a specific one, you could expect to use 80 of these instilling orbs. That's quite a lot, in my opinion, if you were rolling specific. But I think that on some of the things you could roll some weird stuff, like you don't have to roll perfect mods. And then I'm going to check the price of instilling orbs for the video, just to see what they're at now. You're getting about one to two, probably more like 1 instilling orb per chaos. So yeah, this would be like 80 chaos to enchant all your flasks to be fully automated. But I'd say it's actually really worth it. So then the cool mods, I found that using a guard skill doesn't work with the custom damage taken, so this doesn't work in our build. Use on travel skill can be good because in our build we use phase run, and our phase run is a 4-second cooldown, and most of our flasks are 4-second cooldowns. The only issue is you're using your flasks with that one when you're not even near monsters, and the only one you would want to really use is maybe the quicksilver, but the quicksilver has our bleed immune, so you don't want to use all of the flask charges, in my opinion. So that's just a small thing there. So these two are weird. When you lose a guard skill, that could work. When charges reach full is pretty good. Reuse at end of flask effect is weird because I don't like it personally, because you have to... It doesn't automate the flask, and then you have to press the flask to start this, and it will keep reusing it until you have no more charges. And I don't like that, because then you don't have your flask and it wasn't really used the best way, and you had to still press it. Yeah, so then the next one, use when an adjacent flask is used. You could use this to save on instilling orbs. If you hit this, you might be able to combine it with the other flask combinations, especially if you put this one on like the edge and you put it next to another one. So let's say you have use when charges reach full right here as your 4th flask, and then on your 5th you get use when an adjacent flask is used. They'll both go off of this one reaching full, which is kind of fine, right? It's the same thing. Should work perfectly fine. I have a quick trade here. Gotta do a 15 chaos, easy money. Highly worth it. Definitely worth, dude. You always gotta squeeze in your extra little bit of trades, you know. Still playing the season, still matters. Okay, back to useful mods to roll. Use when you hit a rare. We don't hit rares in our build, so this won't work. Use when frozen, shocked, ignited, bleeding, poison are very cool, because you could become immune to these things with the flask mod. So you could almost, in some of the cases, enchant a flask base first, get a bunch of bases with different ones, maybe roll like 20 flasks, right? For this is just an example of how you could make use of how you roll so much variety in these, because I'm imagining if you roll the flask first, then it'll be hard to get the exact one you want. But let's say you roll 20 flasks with these enchants and you get all of them that you want, and then you pick the one you want, and you could sell the other bases back to other people and maybe even craft them up if they're pretty decent. But when you block, we don't really have block in our build. Savage hit is 15% of your life, and use when you use a life flask. So this is kind of funny. We could technically automate it, but I'm pretty sure that it says when you use a life flask, so this would be you manually pressing your life flask. And that can work, but I don't think it doesn't count as us pressing it. So then I don't think this works. But yeah, so I really like the full, the savage hit, and then the specific ailments are really good in my opinion. And maybe when the guard skill's lost, and maybe the adjacent. Those are the ones you could really make use of the most. And that's why for your utility flasks, you might want to roll some of these first, and then take the base that you like the best with the one, and then craft it to the specific thing using, I'll give you this extra tip. You can craft flasks. So let's say you are alt spamming and you get like reduced charges, increased duration, charge recovery, one of those, gain charge when you get hit, whatever. Then you can come to Einhar with your open suffix on a flask where you want to get shock immune or freeze immune or bleed immune, and you can actually craft them. So this is curse. This is shock. This is which one's staunching? Bleed, and heat was the freeze. Yeah, so you can craft on with add a mod to the flask as long as you have some beasts. You can do this. Any rare creature level 20, and easy clap. You can craft your. So that's why I think the instilling orbs, getting the exact mod you want, could be slightly harder. Especially getting the savage hit on your forbidden taste could actually be like 16 to 20 chaos. Expect to spend about 80 chaos if you roll every single one for one specific mod. This is why I'm saying maybe if you look for 5 utility, like the shock and whatever, then you roll those first. It might be easier. Get like whatever one you can get on a granite. Basically, maybe you do freeze immune granite is my point. Maybe and maybe you do a shock immune quartz. You flip it. For example, and maybe you do ignite on the corundum and then bleed, but you switch them around. Like maybe you got lucky and you did the instilling orb and you got it on the quicksilver, then maybe you change it to do that. It's very interesting. I personally, for the quicksilver, I would keep this one at full charges because with the bleed immune, because this is really cool. Okay, you kill a pack, you get the move speed. That's when you want the move speed. It's perfect. And then on top of this, you having with the use on full charges, being able to have this for an extra click for actually removing corrupting blood or bleeding when it's really bad is really nice to always have up, because it's like it's automated and it has semi actual like still use, where some of the other ones could get fully used. If you become shock, it's gone. Shock, frozen, goodbye flask. And if you get 2 big hits, now you have no forbidden taste, where if it was used on full, then you still have 1 manual click to save yourself. Slight advantage with the use on full, in my opinion. And then the corundum, I don't even think I'd need this as use on full. This could be an ignite or something. But there is no stun, as you saw. There's no stun. You could do a savage hit, potentially, and then it would probably work. But it has to be activated. This flask has to be activated before you get stunned for you to be stun immune. So using this all the time with full just makes sense, and you could manually click it. That's all for my automated flask, how to go AFK flask. I hope you guys enjoyed all the extra little bits of tips and tricks of how to maybe craft it yourself to save a little bit, and what you should expect, the odds and everything. I went through all the mods. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to take this opportunity to thank my Patreon and my YouTube members who financially support the channel. I can't do this without you guys, so thank you guys for all the support. And thank you to anyone new who joins the Patreon and the YouTube members today, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!